Hey everyone, welcome back to the Keys to Knowledge. I'm Daniel, and
I'm Sarah.
we're your guides to really taking your sources and unpacking those little hidden gems,
Hmm.
whether it's a dense research paper or maybe just your own scribbled notes.
Yes, those aha moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And today we are diving into a classic.
Ooh, a classic.
Yeah, a classic that's been studied by leaders and strategists for centuries.
Okay.
Sun Tzu's Art of War.
I'm excited.
Now I know what you might be thinking.
Yeah.
Ancient Chinese military strategy.
Right.
Is that really relevant to me?
Well, get ready to be surprised.
Yeah.
Because Sun Tzu's wisdom goes way beyond the battlefield.
Oh, okay.
It's a timeless guide to strategic thinking
Okay.
that applies to everything.
Everything.
Everything from business negotiations to personal relationships.
Oh, wow. So,
Yeah.
it's about so much more than just winning battles.
Exactly.
It's about understanding human nature and outmaneuvering your opponent and achieving victory with the least amount of conflict possible.
Right.
Now, to really appreciate the brilliance of the art of war,
Yeah.
we need to understand the world in which it was written.
Right.
So imagine, if you will, ancient China.
Okay.
A land divided into warring states,
Mm.
constant power struggles, and shifting alliances.
It's like a real life.
It really does. It sounds like a real-life Game of Thrones,
Right.
except with chariots and swords instead of dragons and direwolves.
Exactly.
And warfare back then was undergoing a pretty radical transformation, too.
It was.
Armies were growing larger.
Yeah.
New technologies like iron weapons and crossbows
Right.
were kind of changing the whole game.
They changed everything.
Yeah, it wasn't just about individual duels anymore.
No.
It was more about strategic maneuvers on a larger scale.
We should larger.
So it was a time of massive upheaval and change, which must have created a real need for a new approach to warfare.
Absolutely.
Some way to navigate this complex and unpredictable landscape.
That's where Sun Tzu comes in.
That's where he comes in, okay?
Yeah. His Art of War just emerged as this revolutionary guide to strategy,
Okay.
emphasizing intelligence, deception, and psychological warfare.
All right, before we get too deep into Sun Tzu's teachings,
Yeah.
let's address the elephant in the room,
Okay.
mysteries surrounding the man himself.
Right.
Was he a real general,
I mean,
or is he more of a mythical figure?
it's a question that scholars have had for centuries.
Really?
Yeah. The earliest accounts of Sun Tzu appear hundreds of years after he supposedly lived.
Oh, wow.
And there's no concrete historical evidence to really confirm his existence.
So it's possible that Sun Tzu was more of a composite figure,
Exactly,
like a greatest hits
yeah.
of ancient Chinese military wisdom,
Okay.
all compiled under the name of this legendary strategist.
But regardless of who actually wrote it,
Right?
the brilliance of the Art of War is undeniable.
It's true.
So let's get to the heart of his philosophy.
Okay.
What makes this work so enduring? Well, Sun Tzu's core principle is deceptively simple,
Okay.
yet incredibly profound.
All right, lay it on me.
Achieving victory without fighting.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Winning without actually engaging in battle?
Right.
How is that even possible?
That's the genius of Sun Tzu.
Okay.
He understood that the true goal of warfare, or any conflict really, is to achieve your objectives
Right.
with the least amount of cost and bloodshed.
So it's about being smarter, not necessarily stronger.
Precisely.
It's about outmaneuvering your opponent, anticipating their moves,
Yes.
and finding ways to break their will without resorting to brute force.
Exactly.
And to do that,
Yeah.
Sun Tzu emphasized the importance of two key elements:
Okay, I'm listening.
knowledge and deception.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, let's start with knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
What did Sun Tzu have to say about the importance of gathering intel?
Well, he famously said,
Yeah.
if you know the enemy and know yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you need not fear the result of 100 battles. This highlights his belief that knowledge is power.
Okay.
You need to deeply understand your own strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
but also those of your opponent.
It's like sizing up your opponent before a boxing match.
Exactly.
You need to know their reach,
Right.
their fighting style, their weaknesses, so you can exploit them and avoid getting caught off guard.
Precisely.
Sun Tzu was obsessed with gathering intelligence.
Oh, he was.
He believed in building this robust network of spies,
Yeah.
both at home and abroad,
At home and
to
abroad.
gather information, spread disinformation, and just manipulate the enemy's perception.
Right. So he was essentially creating a multi-layered system of espionage.
Oh, wow.
This web of intrigue
Yeah.
designed to keep the enemy guessing and off balance.
Okay, so this wasn't just about military intelligence, though, right?
No, not at all.
He also stressed the importance of understanding the terrain, the weather, the morale of your troops,
Right.
basically any factor that could influence the outcome of a conflict.
It's about being aware of all the variables at play,
Yeah.
anticipating potential challenges,
Yeah.
and just making sure you have the right information to make informed decisions.
Okay, and this brings us to the other key element of Sun Tzu's philosophy.
Yes.
Deception.
Deception.
He believed in using trickery, misdirection, psychological manipulation to gain an advantage over your opponent.
Yeah, he was a master of manipulating perception.
So it's about playing mind games with your opponent.
Exactly.
Making them believe one thing while you secretly prepare something else entirely.
Exactly.
Sun Tzu was a master at this.
He was.
He advocated for appearing weak when you are strong, feigning disorder to create confusion, and using bait to lure your enemy into a trap.
It's almost like...
It's almost like a magician.
Right?
Using sleight of hand to draw attention away from the real trick.
That's a great analogy.
And it highlights how Sun Tzu's principles of deception are as relevant today as they were centuries ago.
For sure.
Whether we're talking about marketing campaigns, political strategies, or even just personal interactions, understanding the power of perception and misdirection can give us a significant edge.
It really can.
Okay, so we've got knowledge and deception as the cornerstones of Sun Tzu's approach.
Right.
But he also had a lot to say about leadership,
He did.
discipline, and the importance of choosing your battles wisely.
Right.
And that's what we're going to dive into in the next part of our deep dive.
We are.
We'll explore how Sun Tzu's teachings on leadership and strategy can be applied to all sorts of situations.
Right.
From business negotiations to personal relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds fascinating. But for now, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
I'm sure our listeners have some thoughts brewing.
Definitely.
What are your initial takeaways?
Yeah, what are you thinking so far?
From Sun Tzu's ideas about knowledge and deception.
Have you ever used these principles in your own life?
Maybe without even realizing it.
Right.
Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.
We'd love to hear from you.
We're all on this journey of learning and discovery together.
We are. Welcome back to our deep dive into Sun Tzu's Art of War.
Now.
Before the break,
Yeah.
we were talking about Sun Tzu's emphasis on knowledge and deception as like essential elements of strategy.
Right.
But he didn't stop there.
Okay, so what else did he have to say?
Well, he also had a lot to say about leadership. The importance of discipline.
Yeah.
And choosing your battles wisely.
Okay, so let's dig into those aspects of his philosophy then.
Okay. One of my favorite stories from The Art of War is the tale of Sun Tzu training King Helu's concubines.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about this one.
Have you?
It's the one where he ends up executing some of the king's favorite concubines to demonstrate the importance of discipline. Right?
Yeah. It's a pretty shocking story.
Yeah.
But it really drives home Sun Tzu's point about the absolute necessity of obedience and order.
Wow.
Especially in a military context.
Okay, so set the scene for us. What
Well.
exactly happened?
So picture this King Helu wanting to see Sun Tzu's methods in action. Tasks him with training his concubines.
His concubines.
Yes, those women accustomed to a life of luxury and ease.
Yeah, not exactly battle-hardened warriors.
No, not your typical omen.
I can already see this isn't going to go well.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
So Sun Tzu begins by dividing the women into companies.
Okay.
And appointing the king's two favorites as their leaders.
All right.
Then he starts with some basic commands.
Okay.
Right turn, left turn. Advance, retreat.
Simple enough, right?
You'd think so. But instead of obeying, the women just erupt in laughter.
Oh, no.
Treating the whole exercise as a joke.
They probably thought the whole thing was absurd.
Right.
Adorned in their finery, trying to march in formation.
It was quite a sight.
Yeah, I bet it was quite a sight.
But Sun Tzu, ever the strategist,
Yeah.
uses this moment to teach a valuable lesson.
What does he do?
He calmly explains to the king that if instructions are clear but disobeyed, the fault lies not with the soldiers, but with the officers.
So he's kind of shifting the blame a little bit.
He is.
But also highlighting the crucial role of leadership
Right?
in maintaining discipline and ensuring orders are followed.
Exactly.
Okay, but here's where things take a dramatic turn, right?
Well, yeah, this is where it gets interesting.
So, to emphasize his point,
Yeah.
Sun Tzu orders the execution
Yes.
of the king's 2 favorite concubines.
He does.
The very ones that he had appointed as leaders.
Actually, no, right.
Wow, talk about a power move.
It is.
What was the king's reaction to that?
Well, as you can imagine, the king is horrified.
Yeah, I would be too.
He pleads with Sun Tzu to spare their lives, saying that his meals will lose their flavor without them.
Wow.
But Sun Tzu stands firm.
Really?
He tells the king that as the appointed general, he cannot accept any interference, even from the king himself.
So he's basically saying that on the battlefield, a general's authority is absolute.
It is.
Even above the king's.
Even above the king.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
It is.
About the chain of command and the importance of following orders without question.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, what happens next?
Okay, well.
Do the remaining concubines finally get their act together?
They do.
They do.
With new leaders appointed, they execute Sun Tzu's commands flawlessly.
Wow.
They're marching in perfect order, turning and advancing, retreating with absolute precision.
Wow.
Not a single giggle is heard.
So through this dramatic and somewhat brutal act,
it is.
Sun Tzu instilled discipline.
He did.
And transformed these concubines into a well-oiled machine.
Right. So this story, it may seem extreme.
It does.
But it underscores a core principle of the art of war.
Okay. Which is?
Discipline is non-negotiable.
Discipline is non-negotiable.
A leader must be willing to make tough decisions, even unpopular ones, to ensure that orders are followed and the mission is accomplished.
It's a stark reminder that leadership isn't just about being liked.
No, it's not.
It's about making the hard choices, setting clear expectations, and holding people accountable.
Exactly.
And this links directly to another key concept in the art of war.
Okay.
The 5 constant factors.
Or 5 constant factors.
I've heard of these.
Yeah.
But refresh my memory.
Sure.
What are the 5 constant factors?
Okay.
And why are they so important?
So Sun Tzu believed that every leader, whether on a battlefield or in a boardroom, must assess a situation through the lens of these 5 factors.
Okay.
Moral law. Heaven, earth, the commander.
Okay.
And method and discipline.
And he argued that these factors are crucial to making informed decisions and achieving victory.
Right.
Okay, let's break those down one by one.
Okay.
What does he mean by moral law?
Oh, moral law.
Sounds like a very philosophical concept.
It is philosophical and also incredibly practical.
Okay.
So moral law refers to the unity, trust, and shared sense of purpose between a leader and their followers.
So it's about inspiring loyalty.
Yes.
And ensuring your people are with you.
Yeah.
Even in the face of danger.
Exactly. It's about building a strong culture, a sense of camaraderie, and shared commitment to the mission.
Whether you're on a battlefield or in a boardroom. Got it. What about heaven?
Heaven.
Is he talking about like divine intervention or something?
Not quite.
Okay.
While it sounds a bit mystical, heaven actually represents those external factors that you can't control.
Oh.
Think of it as the weather.
Okay.
The timing of events.
Yeah.
Even luck or chance.
So it's about recognizing that there are forces outside of our control, but that we need to be aware of them and adapt our plans accordingly.
Exactly. It's about reading the situation.
Okay.
Recognizing opportunities and adjusting your course when necessary.
Makes sense. Next up is Earth.
Earth.
What does that encompass?
Earth represents the tangible aspects of your situation.
Okay.
The physical realities you have to deal with.
Okay.
Think of it as the terrain. The resources available.
Yeah.
The logistics, the limitations you face.
So for a modern leader, Earth might represent things like market conditions.
Yeah.
Budget constraints. Technology.
Or even the physical workspace.
Right. It's about understanding the playing field.
Yeah.
Knowing your constraints. And using the resources you have strategically.
The commander seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah. The commander.
About the qualities of the leader, right?
Yes. But it's more than just being the person in charge.
Okay.
The commander encompasses the essential leadership traits that Sun Tzu believed were crucial for success.
Okay, like what?
Wisdom.
Okay.
Sincerity. Benevolence.
Benevolence.
Yeah.
So
courage and strictness.
It's interesting that he lists benevolence as a key trait for a military leader.
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily think of that as a top priority in a war zone.
It might seem counterintuitive, but Sun Tzu understood that effective leadership is about balancing strength with compassion.
Okay.
It's about inspiring loyalty and respect.
Not just demanding obedience.
So a true leader, according to Sun Tzu, is not just a strategist, but a motivator, a mentor, someone who can earn the trust and confidence of their followers.
Exactly.
And finally, we have method and discipline.
Method and discipline.
Which seems to be all about the nuts and bolts of getting things done.
Yes, it's about organization.
Okay.
Efficiency.
Yeah.
Clear roles and responsibilities, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Right. So Sun Tzu understood.
He did.
That even the most brilliant strategy is useless without proper execution.
Right.
You need to have the systems and processes in place to make it all work.
Yes, so he's saying that attention to detail, clear communication, and operational excellence are just as crucial as strategic thinking.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that success isn't just about big ideas.
No, it's not.
But about the day-to-day execution, the blocking and tackling. That brings those ideas to life.
Exactly.
So, by carefully considering each of these 5 constant factors, a leader can gain a much deeper understanding of any situation and make more informed decisions.
It's a framework for strategic thinking.
It is.
That applies whether you're leading an army, a company, or even just your own life.
It's fascinating how Sun Tzu takes these seemingly complex concepts and boils them down to these 5 core elements.
I know.
It's like he's giving us a cheat sheet for success.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's not just about internal factors, is it?
It's not.
Sun Tzu also stressed the importance of understanding your opponent's 5 constant factors.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just know your own strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
You need to understand how you stack up against your competition.
So you're looking for mismatches, right?
Exactly.
Where you might have an advantage in one area. Like moral law.
Yeah.
Or heaven.
Right.
That you can leverage against your opponent's weaknesses.
Exactly. It's about identifying those areas where you can gain a strategic edge. And exploiting them to your advantage.
It's like playing a game of chess.
Right.
You're not just reacting to your opponent's moves.
No.
You're thinking several steps ahead. Anticipating their strategies and setting traps they won't see coming.
Exactly.
And this brings us to another key aspect of Sun Tzu's philosophy. Maneuvering an army.
Maneuvering an army.
Now, this sounds like we're getting into the nitty-gritty of military tactics.
We are, but it's not just about troop movements on a battlefield.
Right.
Maneuvering an army is really about calculated movement, strategic positioning, and choosing your battles wisely.
So it's about being deliberate in your actions.
Yes.
Always thinking about the long-term consequences of your choices. Remember that image of the serpent we talked about earlier?
I do.
Sun Tzu believed that a skilled leader should be like a serpent, striking swiftly when the opportunity arises.
Right.
But also knowing when to coil and defend, conserving energy, and waiting for the right moment to act.
What exactly?
It's about being both proactive and reactive.
It is?
Aggressive and defensive.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
It is.
It's about adapting to the ever-changing dynamics of the situation.
Right.
Being flexible and responsive, while always keeping your ultimate objective in mind.
Precisely.
So maneuvering an army, both literally and metaphorically, is about being strategic, adaptable, and always looking for ways to gain an advantage.
Right.
Even in the face of challenges.
Exactly. And it applies to so many areas of life.
It really does.
From business negotiations to personal relationships. It's about being thoughtful.
Right.
Okay.
And always considering the bigger picture.
Sun Tzu seems to be advocating for this balance of decisiveness and patience.
Yeah.
Knowing when to strike and when to wait for the right moment.
Exactly. And this brings us back
It does.
to one of the core themes that has been running through our entire discussion.
Okay, which is?
The importance of knowledge and understanding.
Knowledge and understanding.
Sun Tzu believed that true victory stems from a deep understanding of yourself, your opponent, and the situation you're facing.
And not just a superficial understanding, but a deep, insightful grasp of the forces at play.
It is.
Both visible and hidden.
Exactly.
So it's about more than just gathering information.
Yes, it is.
It's about analyzing it.
Right.
Connecting the dots. And seeing the bigger picture.
It's about developing a keen sense of awareness. An ability to anticipate challenges.
And make those strategic moves that set you up for success.
And this understanding,
right,
as we've discussed throughout our deep dive, goes beyond just facts and figures.
It does.
It's about grasping the nuances of human nature, motivations, and those often hidden forces that shape events.
Exactly. It's about reading between the lines. Picking up on subtle cues and understanding the psychology of your opponent.
This is incredible.
It is.
We've covered so much ground.
We have.
From knowledge and deception to leadership and strategic maneuvering.
Right.
It's clear that Sun Tzu's Art of War is a treasure trove of wisdom.
It is.
That's as relevant today as it was centuries ago.
It's true.
But there's still more to explore.
There is.
In the final part of our deep dive,
we'll
delve into some of Sun Tzu's most famous quotes.
Okay.
Unpacking their deeper meaning. And exploring how they can be applied to our lives today.
Can't wait.
I'm already starting to see the world through a more strategic lens.
That's the power of Sun Tzu.
It is.
He challenges us to think differently, to see beyond the obvious, and to approach every situation with a strategic mindset.
So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's pause and hear from our listeners.
Okay. What's resonating with you so far?
What insights have you gained from exploring Sun Tzu's teachings on leadership and strategy?
Share your thoughts and experiences
in
the comments below.
Welcome back to the Keys to Knowledge. We've been on quite a journey.
We have.
Exploring the timeless wisdom of Sun Tzu's Art of War.
It's incredible.
It is.
How these ancient teachings still resonate today, offering valuable insights for leaders, strategists, and anyone facing challenges in their lives.
We've talked about knowledge, deception, leadership, discipline, and strategic maneuvering.
That's a lot.
It's a lot to unpack. But for this final part of our deep dive, I want to focus on some of Sun Tzu's most famous quotes.
Oh, I love that idea.
I mean, his words are so powerful.
They are.
And thought-provoking. They really cut to the heart of his philosophy.
They do.
So let's start with one that really struck me.
Okay.
Supreme excellence consists of breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting.
Oh, that's a good one.
What do you think Sun Tzu meant by that?
Well, I think this quote speaks to Sun Tzu's belief that true victory lies in achieving your objectives with the least amount of conflict possible.
So it's about outsmarting your opponent.
It is.
Finding their weaknesses and maneuvering yourself into a position of advantage where they have no choice but to yield.
It's like winning a game of chess.
It is. It's like checkmating your opponent.
Right.
Before they even realize they're in trouble.
Exactly.
It's about using strategy, intelligence, psychological warfare to achieve your goals without resorting to brute force or unnecessary confrontation.
So in a business context, this might mean finding a way to collaborate with a competitor rather than engaging in a costly price war.
Interesting.
Right. Or in a personal relationship. It might mean finding common ground and resolving a conflict through empathy and understanding rather than resorting to anger and aggression.
Sun Tzu's wisdom encourages us to think outside the box.
It does.
To be creative in our approach. And to always seek the most strategic path to success.
Exactly.
And that leads perfectly into another one of his famous quotes.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles.
Ooh.
This quote highlights the power of knowledge and self-awareness.
Yes.
Sun Tzu believed that by deeply understanding both your own strengths and weaknesses and those of your opponent. You know, you can anticipate potential challenges minimize risks, and make those calculated moves that lead to a favorable outcome.
It's a reminder that knowledge is power.
It is.
And the more we understand about ourselves and the world around us, the better equipped we are to navigate the complexities of life.
And this understanding, as we've discussed throughout our deep dive,
We have.
goes